Tennis surely isn't the first sport in people's minds which is associated with doping. Cycling, track and field, and weightlifting are the ones that first pop into my head when thinking about sports which have had many doping scandals. How's it going, folks? My name is Tanel, and today let's take a look at some of the most famous doping scandals in tennis. Obviously, the use of doping is considered unsportsmanlike and unethical. Punishments can vary from official warnings to career bans. It all depends on the severity of the offense. The practice of doping in tennis involves the use of prohibited and performance-enhancing substances. The substances are listed by the International Tennis Federation (ITF) and World Anti-Doping Agency (WADA). When categorizing, we can separate banned substances and banned doping methods. You can look up yourself what every term means more specifically, but basically the lists include the following. Talking about tennis and doping, I feel that our beloved sport is so much technique and skill based that it just doesn't make a lot of sense to use doping. At least not compared to the sports I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Well, yeah, I guess one could use substances to improve endurance, explosiveness, and to maybe heal from an injury faster. For example, as many tennis fans know, there have been a lot of speculations and accusations in the address of Rafa Nadal. But basically all of them have been some crazy rumors created by even crazier people. In my opinion, it's not worth it to dig deeper into those accusations. So here, we are not concentrating on rumors and conspiracy theories. Instead, I'm going to talk about some star players who actually tested positive and/or were found guilty. As you can soon see, almost half of the tennis doping scandals are not associated with performance-enhancing substances. But obviously the recreational drugs are not cool as well and are also prohibited. In addition, it should be said that drug testing in tennis started in the late 1980s and has evolved over the years a lot. That's why most of the scandals have taken place in the last 20 years and not in the 1970s, 80s or 90s. Okay, enough of the introduction, let's now take a look at some of the most famous cases. Andre Agassi. The former world number one, who won 8 Grand Slams in singles, tested positive in 1997 for the use of methamphetamine. Because of it, Agassi got handed a 3-month suspension from pro tennis. However, the punishment was not formally handed down after Agassi blamed the positive result on a spiked drink. But years later, in 2009, the American published his famous autobiography, Open. There, he admitted to lying about the cause of his positive drug test. Agassi said that he became addicted to methamphetamine in 1997 after his assistant introduced him to the drug. During that time, he faced both personal and professional problems, which were also supposedly the reasons for him getting addicted to the drug. In response to this confession, Roger Federer declared himself shocked and disappointed. The Russian former world number one, Marat Safin, even said that Agassi should return his prize money and be stripped of his titles. In an interview with CBS, Agassi justified himself and asked for understanding, saying it was a period in my life where I needed help. Guillermo Cañas. The former world number 8 Cañas was suspended for 2 years in 2005. He was also forced to forfeit nearly $300,000 in prizes by the ATP. So what did he take? Well, he tested positive for this drug. Good luck spelling it, guys. Anyway, it's a substance with no benefits in itself other than as a treatment for hypertension. But it's also used to cover other forbidden substances. Luckily, no traces of any other forbidden substances were found in Cañas' sample. The Argentine claimed that the drug was present in some medicine prescribed by ATP doctors for gold. Cañas vowed to fight the ban, claiming he was innocent of the charges against him. He took his case to the Court of Arbitration of Sport and it paid off. Still, Cañas was considered careless in not checking the medicine before ingesting it. He was allowed to return to full professional activity in September 2006, which was 13 months after the start of suspension. Another good news for Ganyas was that the prize money acquired before the suspension was restored. Martina Hingis. In 2007, the Swiss tennis star tested positive for the drug benzoylecgonine. It is a substance that has traces of cocaine. The ITF gave Hingis a 2-year suspension from pro tennis. She also lost her world ranking and got a fine of $120,000. Hingis challenged the decision, but it was refused because she had already announced retirement. The tennis star, who spent a staggering 209 weeks as a singles world number 1, didn't admit guilt. Hingis said that she had never used cocaine and subsequently carried out a private drug test. And boom, it returned a negative result. Still, she didn't formally challenge the ruling as she had retired from pro tennis. Hingis later returned to tennis in 2013. She won many Grand Slams in doubles and also reached number 1 ranking in that discipline. Maria Sharapova. Maria's case was the one that definitely got the most attention out of all doping scandals in tennis. In 2016, the Russian tennis icon confessed to failing a drug test while playing at the same year's Australian Open. The substance used was a drug named meldonium, which is used to treat heart disease. Sharapova, one of the richest athletes in the history of women's sports, claimed there was no wrongdoing on her behalf. She admitted to using the prescription-based drug for over 10 years. Masha took it due to her susceptibility to influenza, treatment for symptoms of diabetes, and magnesium deficiency. And for the mentioned 10+ year span, it was all legal and fine. But on January 1st, 2016, the drug was placed on the ITF's banned substance list. That's because it was ruled to have performance-enhancing effects, such as increased exercise ability and reduced recovery period. So yeah, all parties basically agreed that Sharapova may not have been consciously using the substance to increase performance. Still, the ITF and WADA claimed that it is the responsibility of the player and team to be aware of new additions to the banned substance list. Initially, Sharapova got a 2-year ban from competitions. It was later reduced to 15 months after it was found that there was no intention to cheat and no significant fault on her behalf. Simona Halep. This is the most recent case and is still going on. The 2-time Grand Slam champion Halep failed a drugs test at last year's US Open. Due to that, she was obviously suspended from tennis. The length of the suspension wasn't immediately announced, but she could face a ban of up to 4 years. The name of the drug is roxadustat, and the Romanian former world number 1 was found to have traces of the named drug in her urine. The 31-year-old Halep has denied knowingly taking the drug. She also said that the results showed extremely low levels of the substance in her system. In a lengthy statement posted on social media in October, Halep said, "Today begins the hardest match of my life, a fight for the truth." However, Halep fans got some good news in the beginning of December. She seemed to have identified the source of the drug that she tested positive for. Allegedly, roxadustat was among the supplements she had been using. So what is the current situation regarding Halep's case? Well, basically Halep's suspension can be reduced or even cancelled if the 2 following conditions are met. Firstly, she has to establish the way in which the substance entered the body. But Halep would need to provide evidence that she accidentally ingested the banned substance. As I said before, she seemed to have done that, so let's hope it's all good now with the first condition. And secondly, Halep has to prove her lack of intention to take the prohibited substance to improve performance. It's not as easy to prove as it sounds, but it will be fascinating to see how Halep's doping scandal ends. I truly hope that she is indeed innocent. But the thing to keep in mind with hearing about positive doping tests is that it's impossible for us, regular people, to truly know whether an athlete is innocent or not. The ones who fail doping tests almost always say that they are innocent and that they don't know what happened. Harsh reality is that in most cases only the athletes themselves know the truth. Obviously there have been some other doping scandals in tennis as well. For example, the Cascais cocaine kiss drama. But overall, there haven't been that many doping cases in tennis. Let's hope it stays that way. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.